Hi folks, Tim Sundles here with Chris Jonker. Chris is the outfitter that books all of our hunts and guides most of them. And we've just got a night or two left here in South Africa, and we just ate a big dinner that Kim cooked, and thought we'd talk to Chris for a little bit. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Chris and I have hunted together quite a bit. Chris is an excellent hunter. What I like about Chris is that I can trust Chris. Chris would throw his body between me and a buffalo if death or injury was imminent for me. And I don't know how much you folks know PHs in Africa, but about half of them are worthless, and probably half of the remaining half are questionable. So maybe 25% of them are really good. And Chris is one of the really good ones. Why don't you, Chris, tell us your history, how you got started as a PH and where?
In 2018, after school, I went to PH school in the Northern Cape in South Africa. And in that January 2019, I started my hunting career in Mozambique in the Delta and up top in the province Niassa. I hunted there for 3 years, and then I started working for Mr. Sandals.
You don't work for Mr. Sundles, you work for Mrs. Sundles. So how many buffalo do you think we've killed together?
Sure, probably more than 10.
I would say more than 10, especially if you count the Kalahari buffalo.
Yeah, that was 3 buffalo there.
Mm-hmm.
And a lion.
And the lion, yeah.
Yeah, Chris and I have killed lion together, and this August we're going up to Botswana to hunt elephant. And Chris just about a year ago did all the paperwork. There's a crazy amount of paperwork here that you have to do. He did all the paperwork to get his outfitter's license, so now he's booking hunts, he's PHing on the hunts, and I don't know, what's your favorite thing to hunt?
Buffalo. Buffalo is my favorite.
Same here.
Makes you feel alive.
Makes you feel alive if they charge.
Yeah, but even if they don't charge, just to know he can charge, that feeling is, you can't describe it.
I think lions, I've hunted a lot of buffalo with you and otherwise, but I think lions are probably my favorite thing to hunt.
Yeah, lions are also nice, but that's more like a once in a lifetime hunt. Buffalo, you can do a couple of them at least.
And we'll find out what I think of elephant hunting. Your time in Mozambique, did you hunt any elephants?
No, the quota was closed for elephant hunting. We were only protecting them with our anti-poaching efforts, but there's a handful of places in Mozambique that you can hunt elephants in, but we weren't one of them.
What's your favorite cartridge to use for hunting? Not stopping, but hunting.
270 Winchester Magnum.
Okay, so would you hunt lion with that?
Yeah,
I would too.
but it's not legal, but yeah, it can do the job.
What do you have to hunt lion with?
We recommend at least a caliber 375 and up. That will be adequate, but a 300 is adequate, 338 Lapua. But yeah, different provinces has different regulations on what is the minimum caliber of rifle that you may use on a certain animal or game species.
So for the last couple of years, you've been using a CZ 550 416 Rigby. Are you pretty fond of that?
Yeah, I love that gun, and it's proven itself in Africa many years. And
What kind of ammo are you shooting?
buffalo ball. Yeah, the 350 grain Barnes TSX that Tim loads. works.
It works really well. So what are you gonna take when we go elephant hunting up to Botswana?
The the buffalo boar solids that you brought me,
Those 350 grainers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're more than adequate to stop an elephant if it decides to charge.
Just hit him in the brain. So if you could have your dream cartridge for hunting and for stopping, what would it be?
One gun.
Yeah, your favorite. I mean, you can have more than one, but what would your favorite be?
I would say the 416 Rigby, because you can scope it. It's not too bad hunting the whole day with it. It doesn't kick that much. But yeah, and you can, if you get into a tight spot, you just take off your scope and use iron sights.
You had some kind of a red dot optic on your 416 until a month or so ago. What happened?
We were looking for eland up in the mountain here behind the lodge, and it was wet the morning, and while I was filming Tim with the GoPro, I slept and I fell with my gun that was on my shoulder, or on a sling on my shoulder, and I fell straight onto the red dot sight and shattered the glass.
But you had iron sights already sighted in, so
Yeah.
you had a backup.
Yeah, it doesn't, you can just screw it off and then iron sights are ready to go.
So what will be your biggest cartridge you will have for stopping dangerous game?
I would go to a 500, something that I'm comfortable shooting. I don't think I'll be comfortable carrying a 600 the whole day, but yeah, 500 for me is more than adequate.
I think 500's more than adequate for everything that walks here.
Yeah,
If your ammunition is right.
yeah, that's why you use buffalo bow.
I didn't pay him to say these things. I pay him, but not to say this.
No, but I've dealt with other ammunition and or faults that I did, and I've never come across buffalo bow that was faulty. So that says a lot.
You know, there's a lot of really good ammo out there. Norma makes exceptional ammo, and I bought 5 boxes of Norma one time in the States of their PH ammo with the solid in it.
Yeah.
And I had FTFs, failures to fire, in both of my rifles, and they've never FTF'd with any other brand or any hand load, and that's just bizarre because Norma makes some of the best ammunition in the world.
Yeah, and when you are hunting dangerous game, you can't afford a failure to fire, because that's your life on the line.
Well, I'm just a thorough believer in doing enough testing before you have to rely on it,
Yeah,
so nothing lets you down.
and also whatever works best in your rifle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So Tim did a video on kind of follies of people who use his ammo and the nonsense that he's had to deal with really brilliant people. What are some fun, or what is a story that you can share about a hunter you had that just was not great and that we can all laugh and
Just
relate
don't
to?
say his name.
No, I won't say his name. We were hunting in Mozambique with clients, and we called him Madikwa. It means in Portuguese it's a palm tree. But he said he was in the military and stuff. But when we handled the rifles, you could see he wasn't in the military because he couldn't handle the rifle. And every time he wants to, it was a 375 Saku that he rented from us to hunt with. Every time he wants to pull off the safety, his finger is in the trigger guard against the trigger. So the first time he did it and the shot went off, and we were all like in front of him and turned around and wondered what the hell went on now. And I explained to him, don't do it, and he did it again while we were walking back to the pickup after stalking a Liechtenstein hartebeest. And a shot went off between me and the tracker, and we felt like the velocity going next to our legs. And at that point I decided, you're not handling a firearm again, making it safe or empty. So the tracker's job was to carry the firearm, load it, and put him on the shooting sticks. He was a real nice guy, don't get me wrong, but yeah, just basic rifle safety and where your finger's supposed to be, that's important, because shooting someone, it's a big mistake.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I would hate about your job, is having to make sure that people are safe with firearms.
Yeah, but it's just it's a thing, I mean, everyone should know handling a firearm. And if you grew up, your dad taught you that, and yeah, you can't take it out there, it's in there.
Do you find that most hunters that come can shoot, that come to hunt?
Yeah, most of them practice at home with whatever to prepare themselves. If they have the big caliber rifles or have a friend that has one, we often recommend, get used to your gun and yeah, use it.
If you could have anybody come hunt with you, who would be your...
Joe Rogan.
Okay, Joe Rogan. You're welcome to Buffalo Board Game Preserve, Ganahook, or anywhere Chris wants to take you.
Has he hunted Africa yet?
I don't think so. Not that I picked up on his podcasts, but I know he hunts in the States. And
He does some. He just started 7, 8, 9 years ago. He started hunting with Steven Ranella.
yeah, the meat eater.
Yeah.
But I think he'll enjoy Africa.
Oh, he'd love Africa. Now, would some of it be unnerving and unsettling at first? Like if an elephant charged or a buffalo charged or something like that, it would probably be pretty unnerving, but I got a lot of confidence in Rogan. He'd pull it together and do really good.
Yeah,
I think he's a bow hunter more than a rifle guy, isn't he?
I don't know.
bow hunting. Yeah, I've seen on Renella he was bow hunting. But you can shoot a buffalo with a bow. I think that's more thrilling than a rifle.
Yeah, my favorite person to hunt with is Don Trump Jr. I've hunted once with him in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get him to come out here when he has spare time. And he also wants to kill buffalo with archery and with a revolver.
Ah, that would be fun.
It would be a hoot. I just don't want him getting killed on my watch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a high level climb.
You know, but yeah.
Mine would be Donald Trump, the president.
The old man, he doesn't hunt though.
He can just come and sit with me with Melania, and we can just hang out while you all hunt.
You know, I have a lot of respect for the Trumps, and something Americans that haven't been to Africa probably don't realize is that most of the African countries follow the Trumps and follow American politics better than most Americans follow American politics. And around this campfire, there's no shortage of supporters for President Trump and his whole family for the sacrifice that they make, you know. Well, I don't know Joe Rogan, but we'll see if we can reach out.
Yeah, that
You know,
would be.
if he hunted Africa, he would pee down both legs.
And he'll come every year. I think if that bug, you can say it because it bit you and you still here. But if the Africa bug bites you, you can't describe it. You just want to be in Africa.
Yeah, well, there's no place like Africa. There's no animals like Africa has.
Yeah.
I mean, even the antelope, a lot of those are dangerous. A bush buck is dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, Kim and Corbin a month ago got charged by a roan up there. I mean, You know, things like roans will charge you, or wildebeest kill people probably every year. You
And
know,
gamsbok. Gamsbok is dangerous.
are they?
Yeah, especially like wounded ones and he's laying down and you come close. They're so accurate with their horns. He can, wherever think he's aiming right.
Well, tell the story, Chris, when we were here last year and we had a bunch of hunters and you guys were out and you saw a bunch of jackals kind of making noise and you went to figure out what it was, and what did you find?
The baby buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we found the baby buffalo where his tail was eaten off, his testicles were eaten off, and he was in pretty bad shape. So we brought him to the lodge and tried to rehabilitate him, but it was too late. He was way too dehydrated, and I think the stress got him, and he knew he was already predator bait, so he gave up on life.
Mm-hmm.
That was a sad part, but African nature is cruel.
Mm-hmm.
African nature is really bloody and cruel. And buffalo don't give up on life very easy.
No.
They're one of the toughest, most resilient animals I've ever seen.
Definitely.
So, Chris, tell us a little bit more about where were you born and raised?
I was born in the Free State. It's like in the middle of South Africa, a small town called Ladybrand. And I went to primary school there. And then to high school, my dad sent us off to the city to go to boarding school where there's better education than in the small towns. And I went to high school in Bloemfontein until I finished that year and went to PH school in the Northern Cape.
And when you left home, well, actually, you went to boarding school, so you were away from home at what age?
At 13.
13.
Yeah.
And then after you graduated, you went to Mozambique to become a PH.
Yeah, that year I graduated, that December. November we were done with school. December I went to PH school. The next year, January, I went straight to Mozambique to start my hunting career.
And you didn't go back and see family for how long?
I was there for 2 years straight because I was the youngest. I had to stay in camp and control the anti-poaching, and so that all the guys can have off December holiday.
And tell them how you build the whole camp when you were in Mozambique, how you guys actually have to build it from scratch.
Yeah, so we have our main camp there. There's always repairs to be done after season because you get the raining season, there's what we call them. It floods everywhere, so everything gets flooded and sometimes it gets destroyed. And then as soon as like the flood line goes down, more of the area gets accessible for hunting. And then we used to build fly camps in the swamps, so you can hunt buffalo, so you don't need to leave early mornings and come back early morning with your buffalo. So we could go to the fly camps and then we hunt buffalo. So we normally use the safari tent setup and then pour slab of concrete for the bathroom, so everyone has a working bathroom. And then we would use, like we call the madikwas, the palm trees or whatever tree was there, old trees, dry trees, that we can build stands for tanks. And then we used to have this old portable, we call it a donkey. It's an old propane tank that's been emptied and turned around, welded on a piece of rim of a truck. And then you can make fire underneath, so you connect your water tank to it. And then the camp would have running hot water for showers, and yeah, so that was what we had to do on a yearly basis.
You have to build out the bathrooms and everything, all the toilets, the plumbing.
If it gets destroyed now with all the floods, but most of the times it is destroyed with the floods.
So I've got a question for you. How many times, if you include the time you and I got charged, how many times have you had real charges from Cape Buffalo?
Probably 8-9 times.
So don't book a hunt with Chris, he's bad luck.
Yeah,
But you're still alive, so you must be good luck.
yeah, it happens. You can't You can see the signs, but not always. They don't always show you signs. I mean, with the one we hunted, he didn't show us he's gonna charge. He just decided he's gonna charge, and there's nothing else you can do except stand your ground and hope your shot hits him.
Well,
And don't run.
yeah, if you run, you're dead. Anyway, folks, just wanted you all to get to know Chris. Chris will take you hunting anywhere you want to go in Africa. And you can trust him. Your life's in the best possible hands. He's good. He's good under pressure. He's very cool-minded. And he will not cut and run. And I've seen too many PHs cut and run. You know, they don't mean to. They just get scared and run.
And he can shoot.
Well, yeah, Chris is great with a rifle. Except for the few times I've seen him miss that I still tease him about. But anyway, just wanted you to meet Chris Jonker. His company is Jonker Safaris. If you go to Buffalo Boar Outdoors, and when you get there, click on the safari link to this ranch. Chris's contact information is right there, and he's already booking hunts. You've got 2 elephant hunts this year, don't you?
Yeah, yours and one other client.
Yeah.
Do we have any available hunts for 2025, or are we all booked out?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have 2 spots available.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 2 here for 2025.
Okay.
In 2026, how many hunters we take is completely up to Chris. I'm trying to stay out of that end of things, other than there are certain people I really want to hunt with, and I enjoy meeting new people, but it's completely up to Chris how many hunts he books. So probably 10 anyway, huh?
Yeah, 10, 15.
And then plus other hunts around the country.
Yeah, wherever you want to go, you can go. But we first need to hunt here.
Well, I think you and I in 26 will either be hunting dry ground hippos or maybe rhino.
Yeah,
If I do rhino, I'll have my big 5. Not that it matters. It's just the rhino are so easy to hunt. I don't get excited about it.
you never know. Maybe you think it's easy and we get there and he charges. I mean, that's the second biggest mammal on the African continent.
Well, anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. You've met Chris now. God bless. We'll see you on the next video.